En cada familia hispana hay un sueño que nació pequeño y creció con trabajo, amor y con fe. VOZ Mercado es ese espacio donde todos esos sueños se encuentran. Un lugar hecho por nosotros, para nosotros. Aquí cada producto tiene historia, cada tienda tiene rostro y cada compra tiene un propósito. Cuando eliges VOZ Mercado, eliges apoyar a nuestra comunidad, a los que crean con corazón y mantienen viva la esencia de ser latino. Descubre nuestras boutiques, espacios únicos donde la cultura latina florece y donde encontrarás productos de calidad y a buen precio, especialmente creados para nuestra comunidad. D1 Café, que celebra nuestra pasión por el café y los encuentros que nos unen. Berry Clean Sops, creada con el amor de una madre para cuidar a tu familia con productos naturales. Canticos, donde la cultura y la música se transforman en aprendizaje y alegrías para los más pequeños. Holy Water, una marca que une estilo y propósito inspirada en nuestra fe y en nuestras raíces. Cada boutique refleja quiénes somos, creativos, soñadores, emprendedores, y cada compra representa una forma de hacer crecer a nuestra comunidad. Apoya lo nuestro, vive la diferencia y visítanos hoy en mercado.voz.us.
Now we're
¿Cómo te va? Qué gusto saludarte, muy buenos días. Bienvenido a un episodio más de La Voz de Gustavo Vargas en el Diálogo Libre 2.0. Mi nombre es Gustavo Vargas y te bendigo en el nombre más poderoso que existe, el nombre de Jesucristo nuestro Señor. Que tengas una gran jornada. Gracias por estar conectados en vivo. Los que están conectados en vivo les mando un gran abrazo. Los que se van a conectar más tarde o van a ver esto en un reprise, en una repetición, pues también bienvenidos todos. Hoy vamos a tener un tema muy interesante. Ya sabes, siempre tengo temas interesantes para ti, sobre todo temas que los medios tradicionales de comunicación no tratan porque no quieren tratar o porque los dueños de estos medios de comunicación no quieren que mis compañeros los traten por alguna razón. No sé cuál es, pero no me importa. Lo que sí me importa es que estás conectado, lo que sí me importa es que estás formando parte de los casi 400,000 suscriptores que tenemos en YouTube. Tenemos millones de vistas alrededor del mundo, pero queremos que tú también descargues la aplicación nuestra, que descargues VOZ Media, que la tengas en tu teléfono inteligente, que si nos estás viendo en YouTube no solamente lo veas, sino que nos des un me gusta, nos des un like, que hagas clic a la campanita y que te registres en nuestro canal para que no te pierdas ni un solo minuto del contenido de La Voz de Gustavo Vargas en el Diálogo Libre y del contenido que hacen mis otros grandes compañeros. Además puedes ver el noticiario también en vivo. Así que, ¿qué te parece? Descárgalo ya en la aplicación y tennos en todos lados. Nos puedes ver también en Rumble, nos puedes escuchar en Spotify, nos puedes ver y escuchar en Apple, estamos en Roku, estamos en un montón de plataformas, siempre cerca de ti y sobre todo cerca de tu corazón. Y mira, estoy muy emocionado porque el día de hoy comenzamos una relación muy cercana con mis amigos de VOZ Salud y particularmente con una empresa muy seria que se llama Lassie Health. Y te quiero leer esto para que lo tengas en consideración. Esto es bien importante. Escucha. Si quieres acceso fácil y accesible a servicios de salud para ti y para tu familia, ya lo puedes hacer con VOZ Salud. Atención médica 24/7, cuidado urgente, salud mental y sin complicaciones ni sorpresas en la factura. En VOZ conocemos las necesidades que tiene nuestra comunidad hispana en el país y por eso nos hemos aliado con Lassie Health para ofrecer a nuestra audiencia membresías que incluyen consultas virtuales, ilimitadas, descuentos en pruebas, especialistas, procedimientos y fíjate tú, para ponerlo bien fácil, más de 400 medicamentos gratis o con entrega a domicilio. Todo desde un plan muy simple y muy transparente que lo puedes cancelar en cualquier momento. Así que te invito a que visites salud.voz.us, que también está en el texto de la descripción del video que verás y te encuentras el plan ideal para ti y para tu familia. ¿Te late? Ok. Pues bueno, vamos a meternos de cabeza en este programa. El día de hoy voy a estar platicando sobre la marcha por la vida. ¿Tú sabes que hay una marcha por la vida? ¿Tú sabes que California tiene años llevando a cabo una marcha por la vida? ¿Has participado en ella? Lo más probable es que no, que ni siquiera te hayas enterado. ¿Por qué? Pues porque los medios de comunicación están confabulados con los gobiernos de izquierda que, como te lo he dicho hasta la saciedad, quieren destruirnos. Y una buena manera de destruirnos es destruir nuestra vida, sobre todo cuando está en el vientre, cuando todavía no tiene ninguna oportunidad de defenderse. Por eso es que California empuja tanto este rollo de los derechos reproductivos. ¿Mm? Mira lo que publicó el procurador de justicia del estado, que supone que debe estar persiguiendo a los criminales. Para mí, eliminar la vida de un bebé en el vientre de una mamá es un crimen brutal, porque tiene todas las agravantes, premeditación, alevosía y ventaja. Pero ve lo que publica Rob Bonta. Dice, California Department of Justice remains committed to supporting, expanding, and defending access to reproductive care for all. El Departamento de Justicia de California mantiene sus compromisos de apoyar, ampliar y defender el acceso a la atención reproductiva para todos. Atención reproductiva significa eliminar la vida de los bebés en los vientres de las mamás. Y dice, California cuenta con leyes sólidas que protegen la libertad reproductiva, la libertad de una madre en contubernio con su médico de eliminar la vida de un bebé en el vientre de ella misma. Quiero que veas estas palabras que no hace mucho tiempo decía este criminal disfrazado de procurador de justicia que se llama Rob Bond. Vamos a ver.
Protegidos. En resumen, el Grupo de Trabajo de Derechos Reproductivos de California garantizará que la libertad reproductiva esté protegida en el Estado Dorado, utilizando toda la fuerza y autoridad de la ley. Aquí en California, el derecho al aborto es sacrosanto, pero tener derecho a un aborto significa muy poco si los californianos no tienen también acceso seguro, fiable y asequible.
Sacrosanto. Es un derecho sacrosanto. Masacrar a un bebé, hacerlo sufrir por largos minutos mientras terminan con su vida. Brutal. Por eso, el día de hoy he invitado a una mujer muy importante. Una mujer que puede ser tu hija, puede ser tu amiga. Una mujer que puede inspirar a muchas de nuestras mujeres hispanas a que se involucren en esto. Ella se llama Sofía Lory, y ella pertenece al California Family Council. La entrevista la vamos a hacer en inglés. Voy a tratar de meter un poco de español aquí y allá, pero te voy a leer un poquito de lo que dice la página de California Family Council al respecto de nuestra invitada del día de hoy. Sofía Lory se graduó de la Universidad Vanguard del sur de California. Ahí jugó fútbol americano universitario y estudió administración de empresas. Además, estudió teología y ciencias políticas. Sofía Lory es una firme defensora de la vida, lo que le ha llevado a realizar prácticas y ser embajadora de 2 centros de investigación cristianos sobre políticas públicas. Uno de ellos es el Consejo de Investigación Familiar y otro es Mujeres Jóvenes por América, y todo esto lo hace en la capital del país, en Washington, D.C. ¿Qué les parece si recibimos a Sofía Lory en vivo aquí en La Voz de Gustavo Vargas? Sofía, such a pleasure having you today. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for having me.
No, on the contrary, I believe, and I was telling this to my audience, I believe firmly that our audience probably is not as engaged as we assume they will be because they don't have the facts. They don't have the information. I've been asking a lot of people, especially my Latino women friends, about the March of Life, and I asked them if they knew about it. And you know what? To my surprise, they don't know. So, can you explain a little bit what you do so my audience, especially families, know exactly what your purpose in life is, Sofia?
Yes, absolutely. So, as you mentioned earlier, I work at California Family Council, and it's our mission to advance God's design for life, family, and liberty across California's culture, churches, and the state capitol. And so, what that looks like is our state capitol here in California introduces about 2,000 bills every single year. We go through all of those bills and we find out which ones are affecting our biblical values. More often than not, they're negatively affecting the values, but we go and it is our goal to then let the community know, to let churches know, Californians know how we can stand for our biblical values, how we can urge our state senators and assembly members to vote no on bad bills and yes on good bills. And so, one of the main issues we focus on is the issue of life. We watch pro-abortion bill after pro-abortion bill be introduced every single year at the state capitol. And so it's our goal with the California March for Life to go to the state capitol to have a rally for life, for the protection of the unborn, for the protection of women that may find themselves in an unplanned situation. And we go to boldly proclaim that there are Californians that are still pro-life and that we're going to stand for this issue until the state capitol starts voting pro-life.
Now, Sophia, I want to have your take into this. We tend to believe that most Californians are in favor of, eliminating life inside of the womb. Is that a real? Is that a fact, or is this just promotion over legacy media and all those who advocate for literally eliminating life inside of the womb of the mother? What's your take about this, Sophia?
The California Capitol likes to make it seem that that is what the majority of Californians' stance is. They want to make it seem that Californians are pro-abortion, pro-ending the life of innocent babies in the womb. And yet, we get to work with pro-lifers every single day. We have over 30 pro-life organizations in the state of California that partner with us on this march. 30 pro-life organizations. Each of those organizations have thousands of people that support them, that are behind them from California, showing that we do have a great amount of pro-lifers here. We normally have 2,000 people attend the California March for Life, and we're hoping to see that grow. But we know that if we can see 2,000 people get up to the state capitol, whether they're from Southern California, Central, or they're coming down from Northern California, that there are plenty of pro-lifers across the state still.
Okay. I want to switch a little bit to Spanish because I want to describe what we're about to see. La Marcha por la Vida en California se va a llevar a cabo este 16 de marzo. Por eso era tan importante que Sofía y yo platicáramos para que usted se entere de esto. 16 de marzo de este año, y va a ser en el Capitolio del Estado de California, en Sacramento. Ahí se espera una manifestación al mediodía, que va a estar seguida de una marcha a la 1 de la tarde. Todo esto pacífico. Acuérdense, los conservadores no destruimos, no vamos a quemar, no vamos a robar, como hacen los zurdos, ¿ok? Y esto va a ser, como te digo, este 16 de marzo. Ahora, en enero pasado, grupos pro vida marcharon en las calles de San Francisco. Tenemos este video. Let's watch this clip, Sophie, and then I will have you with your opinion. Adelante, por favor, Andrés, por favor.
Miles de oponentes al derecho al aborto están en San Francisco este fin de semana para la marcha anual por la vida de la costa oeste. Es el 22º año de este evento. Mientras se llevaba a cabo la manifestación y marcha de hoy, activistas pro aborto también se reunieron para hacer oír sus voces. El reportero de ABC 7 Noticias, Cornel Barnard, estuvo allí.
Miles de defensores de los derechos de los no nacidos procedentes del área de la bahía y de otros lugares avanzando por Market Street. Todo esto como parte de la marcha por la vida de la costa oeste.
Bueno, estamos aquí porque creemos que el tema pro vida es el problema número 1 que enfrenta nuestra comunidad, la comunidad negra, y queremos hacer mucho más en ese sentido.
Este evento se celebra anualmente en torno al aniversario de la decisión de la Corte Suprema en el caso Roe contra Wade en 1973, que declaró el aborto un derecho constitucionalmente protegido. El tribunal anuló esa decisión en 2022, dejando la cuestión para que los estados la decidan.
El aborto debería ser impensable. Es el asesinato de un niño. Debería ser impensable. No debería estar disponible bajo ningún concepto.
De acuerdo con la información del Centro de Derechos Reproductivos, 13 estados han implementado prohibiciones totales sobre el aborto. Otros 7 estados están haciendo cumplir prohibiciones de carácter parcial.
Y es solo un paso en la dirección correcta porque necesita ser declarado ilegal a nivel nacional.
Okay, we just saw what just happened not too long ago in the Bay Area. Now, Roe versus Wade. What's your opinion about this Roe versus Wade, about the elimination of that? And now the states are in charge of deciding if a baby, I can't believe I'm going to say this, the states are deciding if a baby is worth of living. What do you think, Sophia?
Yeah, so when Roe v. Wade was overturned, we celebrated. That's such great news. We saw that come out through the Dobbs decision from the Supreme Court. Yet we knew that meant the battle for life was going to get a lot worse in California, that they were going to continue to fight for abortion in California, because I think a lot of people thought Roe v. Wade is overturned, so abortion's now gone, which isn't the case. It meant that the Supreme Court was sending the issue of abortion back to states. Ultimately, like you said, Gustavo, giving states the ability to decide, do babies deserve protection in the womb, or can we end their life at any moment? And unfortunately, California chose the latter. The year Roe v. Wade was overturned, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law 13 pro-abortion bills, trying to make sure that abortion was all across the state as easily accessible as possible and available for any time of the pregnancy. You know, this isn't just the first 4 weeks of a pregnancy, 6 weeks of a pregnancy. In the state of California, you can end the life of the baby up to the moment of birth.
That's just insane. Now, I believe that my community is not quite there yet in the knowing of this. I remember when I was younger, Sophia, I'm 61 years old, but when I was younger, I didn't care about these topics. I heard that, somebody practiced an abortion. It was like, oh, an abortion, like a fetus, like nothing. But the more you know about it, the more you are able to investigate, or when you see a video about how these killers, these assassins, eliminate the life, that innocent life inside of the womb of a mother, is just shocking. Why don't we show, if we can, and I want to have your take on this, why don't we show this to our communities, especially, and one of the guys who was interviewed by the reporter told, the Latino and the African American or the Black community is being literally killed by these practices. I was reading the other day, we should have in the States at least 40 million more of Black Americans, and we don't have them because their mothers with their doctors decided to eliminate those lives. What's your take about this, Sophia?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm Generation Z, and currently 1/3 of Generation Z is missing due to abortion. And yes, we do see the Black and the Latino communities absolutely targeted for abortion. We actually see that Planned Parenthoods pop up more so in Black or Latino communities. And Planned Parenthoods is where people go mostly to get abortions. We see that community targeted. Actually, we saw Margaret Sanger, who is the founder of Planned Parenthood, back in the day saying that she was actually doing this to wipe out the Black community.
Yep.
And yet no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to be real about what is happening here. No one wants to say these stats out loud. I mean, I am half Hispanic, and I'm just so grateful for all of the Hispanic culture that my grandparents have taught me and shown me. And if anything, it is so clear that we are pro-life, we're pro-family, we held these Christian biblical values. That is a huge part of our culture. And yet we are not being told that Planned Parenthood, that abortionists in the state of California are targeting us to end the lives of our babies.
Yes. And now you mentioned the fact that we have a governor. His name is Gavin Newsom. And he refuses to say if there's going to be any limit whatsoever about abortion. I have this clip. Tenemos este pequeño video. I want you to see it. And then I want to have your reaction about the way this governor who wants to be president thinks about life. Adelante, Andrés, por favor.
Acabamos de lanzar un recurso completamente nuevo, un recurso para quienes buscan atención reproductiva, vivan aquí o no. Abortions.gov ya está disponible en línea.
El gobernador Gavin Newsom anunció un nuevo sitio web para la promoción del aborto, estableciendo a California como el estado de la nación donde el aborto es financiado por los contribuyentes.
En California, el aborto sigue siendo completamente legal y está protegido. Puedes contar con nuestro apoyo. Por eso, esperamos que nos visites. Visita abortion.ca.gov para saber más sobre tu libertad de elegir en California.
El sitio web fue creado por la SB 152, que destine fondos para el turismo de aborto de California como parte del presupuesto estatal.
Increíble, incredible. I mean, the guy is promoting a website like he is selling cars or hot dogs or I don't know. Gavin Newsom, in my opinion, is the number one enemy of life probably in the world. What's your opinion? What do you think about it, Sophia, Lori?
He absolutely is. I mean, we have seen him sign dozens of pro-abortion bills into law. And think about the website that we just saw in that video, abortion.ca.gov. You know, we don't have a life.ca.gov, and this is a government website that he's created. We don't have a pregnant and do you need help ca.gov. We don't have mom, do you need diapers for your babies ca.gov. We have abortion.ca.gov. He is promoting in California the ending of life. And as you mentioned, him obviously looking towards a presidential run, we watch him throughout his actions make it seem as if he's leading towards that. Why would we want to put in presidential office a man who is okay with killing a child at any point of 9 months of pregnancy? I mean, how horrific when you really think about it. He's not sitting here and saying, well, on some cases, you know, if there's a really bad situation, which I don't believe abortion is okay at any point of time, but he isn't just trying to say, well, if a woman really needs this, he is saying at any point we can kill a healthy baby all the way up to 9 months of the pregnancy. I mean, we have watched him put pro-abortion billboards in pro-life states, encouraging women to come to California to have an abortion. California will pay for women from other states to fly here. They will pay for their Ubers or taxis. They will pay for their hotel rooms and they will pay for their abortion appointment. So not as only is California promoting abortion, they are recruiting women from other states to end the life of their babies.
Well, yeah, it is an industry of death and financed by our tax dollars. I mean, it's just incredible. And you know what? Some women tend to believe that being able to eliminate their lives of their babies in their wombs some way, somehow, that empowers them. How we reach that status? What do you think? I mean, I know you're very young and all, but you know about this topic, and most importantly, you are a woman. Tell me, you've been talking to those ladies. What can you say about it?
Society has pushed lies onto women, telling them, as you said, that abortion is empowering, that abortion is just healthcare, abortion is a woman's right, and we should be fighting for a woman's right. That is what culture has been putting onto women. And I want to make clear, there is nothing empowering about telling a woman that she wouldn't be able to be a good mother, that she can't be a mother and have a career, that she can't do it all. I think women can do it. I think women are amazing. And if a woman finds herself in an unplanned pregnancy, it's empowering to get alongside her and encourage her that she's going to be okay, that there's resources that will find her the help that she needs, that there's plenty of free services out there to help her in this situation, to help her have her baby and to do it all. It is not empowering to end the life of an innocent human being. And when they call it healthcare, how is a procedure that leaves at least one woman broken and one dead if it is successful, how is that healthcare? That sounds like it's ending life to me. You don't go into a surgery hoping that you come out dead, but that's what we're doing in abortion. Women go into these surgeries hoping that their baby's life has been ended. That is not healthcare. And so I think society has taken advantage of women, of our empathy, and they've used lies to push us into this idea that abortion is okay. They do it because there is a lot of money in the abortion industry. So why would they not want to push something evil on us when there's tons of money going into their pockets because of it? We watch Planned Parenthood give money to political campaigns. Why do you think these politicians are so pro-abortion? Because they receive money from Planned Parenthood. So they'll continue to push the lie that abortion is great if they can keep that money in their pockets. And so we have watched the lack of care, real care for women. We've watched real care for women completely disappear so that the money can keep happening.
Yeah, that's a fact, undeniable fact. Now, let's talk about our current administration. I mean, federally, nationally. Let's talk about Donald Trump, about his stance in this very important issue of abortion. Let's hear what the president thinks, and I want to have your opinion as well. Aquí está el presidente Donald Trump. Adelante, Andrés.
Muchas personas me han preguntado cuál es mi postura sobre el aborto y los derechos de aborto, especialmente porque fui, con orgullo, la persona responsable de poner fin a algo que todos los expertos legales de ambos lados deseaban y de hecho exigían que terminara. Me refiero a Roe v. Wade. Ellos querían que terminara. Debe recordarse que los demócratas son los más radicales en esta postura, ya que apoyan el aborto hasta e incluso más allá del 9º mes de embarazo. El concepto de abortar en los últimos meses e incluso la ejecución tras el nacimiento, y eso es exactamente lo que es. El bebé nace, el bebé es ejecutado tras el nacimiento, es inaceptable y casi todo el mundo está de acuerdo con eso. Mi punto de vista actual es que ahora que el aborto se encuentra en la situación legal que todos deseaban, los estados lo determinarán, ya sea mediante votación popular o a través de la legislación, o quizás por una combinación de ambas, y lo que sea que ellos decidan deberá ser la ley suprema del territorio, en este caso particular, la ley de cada estado.
Bueno, ahí teníamos al presidente Donald Trump. Now, Sophia, Lori, what do you think about the way President Trump is facing this problem, this issue? Do you think he's doing enough, or he is trying to navigate between, the left and the right? What's your take?
Yeah, well, I think I'm very grateful that he got some Supreme Court justices into place that allowed for the overturning of Roe v. Wade. So we can celebrate that and be grateful for that. But I also think that he could be more pro-life. He has had some great pro-life stances. He has helped push our nation to be more pro-life. Yet, I think sometimes we see him playing the middle ground a little bit. And I would love to one day see a president that comes out and just says, I am fully pro-life, and I understand that this is an issue that is now decided at the states, but I think every state should be advocating for the protection of the unborn, for the protection of women. And so I think Donald Trump, our current president, has done a great job in moving our nation more towards being a pro-life nation. But I always think there is movement for more, and I would love to see a president one day that is just undeniably, completely pro-life.
If I remember correctly, I've been living in California for almost 40 years. I remember President, oh my God, I forgot, Ronald Reagan. His name is Ronald Reagan. And he has a famous quote, probably you know it. He said, those who are in favor of abortion is because they already were born. Probably we need a more aggressive stance, but it's politics, they're trying to get also votes from the left or from the independent. There are a lot of independents who believe abortion is right for the nation. I mean, I cannot conceive a nation who is killing his citizens that can achieve greater things. I don't know. Anyways, let's change the topic. Let's talk about it. About this, something that is very, very, I would say it's a lot of women are using this. I'm talking about the abortion pill, this pill that they call it medication. I cannot believe a medication can kill you. It's like, no, but that's the way they perceive or they approach to this abortion pill. And they use that to eliminate, unborn little ones in the womb. What's your take about this abortion pill, Sophia Lori?
Yeah, so, to get an abortion, you used to have to go in and have the complete procedure done. And now they've made it seem like, oh, ladies, it's just like taking Tylenol. It's just like taking Advil. They've tried to make it seem like it's not this big deal. And what it has done, it has turned women's homes, dorm rooms, apartments into abortion centers. So they give these women the abortion pill. This is how most abortions are happening nowadays. And so it's done through two pills, the mifepristone and misoprostol. And so it's good to be fully aware of what these pills do. And the mifepristone pill is the first one that's taken. What it does is it chemically starves the baby, ultimately trying to end the baby's life. It is literally starving the baby, so it hopefully kills the baby while it's still in your womb. And then 24 hours to 48 hours later, you're supposed to take the second tablet, misoprostol. And what that does, it actually induces you. It helps your body then push out the dead baby. And the first pill doesn't always necessarily kill the baby. So now you're pushing out a baby, but because the baby's maybe so young, during that process, the baby's killed as it is coming out of your body, normally over a toilet. They tell you to literally end your child's life in your restroom and flush it down the toilet. And a lot of times these abortion centers tell you, don't look in the toilet afterwards, just flush it, because a lot of women that have done this literally have reported that they did look and they did see their little baby and they could see the little baby's hands. And it's just so disturbing how this is pushed as it's just like Advil, it's just like Tylenol. You take two pills and the pregnancy is gone. But that is not the case. We have seen it's about over a dozen women in the past 20 years that have died due to bleeding out because the abortion pill. You will hear from women that their bodies never felt the same after that because they did give birth. They just gave birth to a baby that was killed by the pill. And it is beyond disturbing, but I want to make clear that first step, the way it chemically starves the baby is it removes the progesterone that is happening in a woman's body to help keep the baby alive. And so if there is a woman that is listening to this, or just to remind them down the line, if they find themselves in a situation of taking the abortion pill, after you have taken the first pill, if you realize that you regret what you have done, you do not have to follow through with the second pill. Abortion centers will tell you, you do, there's no going back. You can go back. You can look up abortion pill reversal. So after that first pill is taken, you can look up abortion pill reversal, and they will provide you with pills and progesterone to help potentially save your baby's life. I have been able to meet babies that are alive today because their mom took the abortion pill reversal. So lives are saved because of that. And so I just want every woman to know, or anyone that's listening, share this with the ladies in your life. Even if you think abortion is something they would never do, it is good for them to be aware of the fact that if they find themselves in that situation after the first pill, they can try to reverse it and save their baby's life. But it is disturbing how easily accessible they have made this pill and how they are letting women suffer through abortions on their bedroom floors, bleeding out in their bathrooms, having the worst cramps of their life because they didn't recognize that they are in labor and they're just having labor for a dead baby in their own home.
Imagine that. I mean, the way you describe it, it's just horrific. I mean, try to put that in your mind, you who are watching right now, and imagine the suffering of that little one. It's it's horrendous. We have a little clip about what you just described. I'm going to ask Andrés to run it for us. Adelante, por favor, Andrés.
En la clínica de abortos o en casa, la mujer ingiere píldoras de mifepristona. La mifepristona bloquea la acción de una hormona llamada progesterona. La progesterona es producida naturalmente en el cuerpo de la madre para estabilizar el revestimiento del útero. Cuando la mifepristona bloquea la progesterona, el revestimiento del útero de la madre se descompone, cortando el oxígeno y los nutrientes vitales al embrión, quien luego muere dentro del vientre materno. Entre 24 y 48 horas después de haber tomado la mifepristona, la mujer procede a tomar el misoprostol, colocando las pastillas en el interior de sus mejillas, experimentará cólicos muy intensos, contracciones uterinas y un sangrado abundante con el fin de expulsar el embrión sin vida de su útero. Este proceso puede resultar extremadamente intenso y doloroso, y las contracciones acompañadas de sangrado pueden prolongarse desde unas pocas horas hasta varios días. Aunque podría perder su embrión en cualquier momento y lugar durante el proceso, la mujer a menudo se sentará en el inodoro mientras se prepara para expulsar el embrión, que luego tirará de la cadena. Incluso podría ver el embrión expulsado dentro del saco gestacional.
Yeah, it's an horrendous way of die. You know, you get suffocated and then you get ejected, like get rid of. Incredible. Now, is California are California politicians doing something in this regard? I mean, we have so many bad laws in California. Everything destined to destroy us as a community, as normal families. Do you know of any initiative from the local Senate or the assemblyman doing something in this regard? Or is so overwhelmed the power of this satanic governor and his accomplices that we cannot do anything, that we cannot at least, promote this in platforms like TV stations or in the public square at least? What do you know, Sophia Lori?
Yeah, we have to work really hard to talk about this and promote this in the public square and make sure people are aware of what's happening, because unfortunately, our California legislature, the state senators and assembly members are extremely pro-abortion. And I want to make something clear. I'm sure there are people listening that are Democrat or independent and are pro-life, because I know there are individuals like that. But our California Capitol does not represent that. It is the Democrats that are pushing this pro-abortion legislation. And that's just the raw truth. That's just the reality. The Democrats are the ones pushing through the pro-abortion bill. The Republicans mostly vote against any pro-abortion bill. We see a couple waver here or there, but it's the Democrats that introduce it, and it's the Democrats that push it through. Again, that is not necessarily representation of all of Californians, but that is the reality of what they are doing at the state capitol. I mean, we had a Republican Assembly member, David Tongipa, introduce last year a bill that simply said, when college students are taught about their abortion access, where they can go to get an abortion, and all things about how great abortion is, because that's the narrative that's being pushed. Can we at least tell them about adoption? Can we at least give them pamphlets on adoption when they receive a pro-abortion pamphlet? Let's also make sure these college students in California receive a pro-adoption pamphlet. And it's not like he said they have to receive a pro-life pamphlet. It's not like he said they had to receive a pamphlet that showed pictures of what abortion really does. He just said, let's sure women know they have a choice of adoption. The Democrats at the California Capitol killed that bill.
Of course.
That is how extreme they are. They don't even want women to know the ability of adoption and where they can work through that process. They are pushing death so strong at the Capitol. And that's why we have to keep talking about it and showing up to events like the California March for Life.
Yeah. The left is good at killing, not only initiatives, but of course people. Now, I want to talk about numbers. Okay. This is going to be very hard what I'm about to share, but I need you guys who are watching us to realize how big is this problem. In 2025, there were more than 509,000 abortions reported in the country, just in the first half of the year. So we're assuming at the end of the year was over 1 million babies killed. These numbers are increasing, especially in California. What do you think is why is this happening? I mean, it looks like we are killing more babies, not only through the normal abortion, but through this killing pill. Sophia.
Yeah, absolutely. It's horrific to see that abortion keeps increasing and increasing. One, a lot of it has to do with the easy access to the abortion pill. A lot of women maybe might not go into a center and have a surgical procedure to end a baby's life, but they can do the pill. They can get themselves to do that. And so that's why we're seeing these numbers increase. We're seeing the numbers increase significantly in California. I mean, the stats right now is about 466 babies are killed every day in the state of California. Every day. That was the size of my high school. That would be like if someone wiped out my entire high school in one day. Think about who those babies could be: doctors, attorneys, teachers. I mean, they could have grown up to be these amazing humans, and we are wiping out that many babies every single day in the state of California. It's because women are constantly being lied to. Again, abortion is not pro-woman. I want to make it clear that when a woman does have an abortion, it increases their chance of breast cancer. We watch suicidal ideation increase. We watch a lot of women spiral into addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs, because they're trying to struggle with what they put their body through. And most of them don't even realize that's why they're struggling, that the abortion has caused all of those issues. I also want to recognize that 1 out of every 4 women have had an abortion. That is the plain stat. And so if there is any woman listening today, if you've had an abortion, you can still receive hope and healing. You can receive care. It is not too late for you. And we want to come along your side, but we don't want there to be judgment or constant attack for what you did, whether it was a week ago or 45 years ago. We understand that you're struggling because of it, and we want to come alongside with you. And so there are pregnancy centers and tons of organizations and churches that want to walk through abortion healing with you. And so as those numbers of abortions continue to rise, we need to make sure women are aware of how they can receive help afterwards, because what they're doing when you actively kill your own child, there are going to be repercussions in your life. And we want you to receive healing while we also want to put an end to abortion.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we need to offer those ladies hope, and they need desperately a lot of hope. Now, at the beginning of his second administration, President Trump cut a lot of funds for this industry of killing babies called Planned Parenthood. But in California, because we have a guy who deeply believes in killing babies in the wombs, his name is Gavin Newsom, he added more money into this so they can avoid, this Planned Parenthood avoid, closing more of these facilities. Vamos a la historia 9. Me voy a brincar a la 9, Andrés. Because money is being funneled from our taxes to this industry. Show me the clip, Andrés, of Governor Newsom celebrating death with his friends when he signed this extra money for Planned Parenthood because it's being depleted from the federal government. Adelante, por favor, Andrés, please. Look at that. Look at that. Here's the governor with his first partner. Is not wife. He has a partner. And all of those ladies smiling because now they have more money to do what they do. We're getting rid of Newsom. He cannot re-elect himself, but he want to be president. Tell me about the dangers of electing this guy as president of the United States of America, Sofia.
Well, one, he is very deceptive. He likes to, whatever crowd he's talking to, he likes it to seem like he agrees with them and that he's a people pleaser. And so it's very important we don't get a man like that into office, one that is going to constantly lie just to get what he actually wants done. I mean, that video too, to see him sit there and sign, it was SB 106, and he just signed this about 3 weeks ago into law. Then to watch these lawmakers standing beside him cheer on 92 million of our taxpayer dollars to go to Planned Parenthood, 92 million of our taxpayer dollars to go to ending innocent human life, and watch them celebrate and cheer and clap that on. And I want to walk through real quick the process of how that happened, because when a bill is introduced, what it happens is it has to go through multiple committees in whatever side it's introduced. So let's say it's introduced in the state Senate, and it has to go through multiple committees. Then the entire Senate floor has to vote on it. If it passes through that, it then has to repeat the process in the assembly, multiple assembly committees. Then the entire assembly floor has to vote on it. And then if both the Senate and assembly pass it through, then it goes to Governor Newsom's desk for him to sign. It's normally a couple months long process. It gives the public the opportunity to fight back against bad legislation, to go and show up and use our voices. SB 106, the bill he just signed to give Planned Parenthood $92 million, they decided it was such an emergency to get Planned Parenthood this money that they would fast track this bill. And they have the ability to do so because the Democrats up there have a super majority. And so this didn't go through any committees, which means the public did not have the opportunity to come testify in opposition or make it clear why our taxpayer dollars should not be going to Planned Parenthood. They fast-tracked it. It went simply to the Assembly and Senate floor. It got passed through, and then Newsom was easily able to sign over 92 million of our taxpayer dollars. Now imagine if he becomes president. How much money, how much taxpayer dollars he will be able to then use then. And so that is why we cannot let a man who is power happy and wants to continue pushing the ending of innocent life into presidential office.
Well, that's the governor that we've been experiencing for almost 8 years in California. Now, we already present what's going on, the status quo of the situation in California. I want to end this conversation with you, Sofia, in a positive note, because we're about to experience this March for Life. Tell me about what we can expect, how our friends and families can get involved. Tell me about all those details, please.
Yes, so we have the California March for Life coming up on Monday, March 16th at the California State Capitol. And while the Capitol is pushing pro-abortion legislation, we are going to the Capitol to stand with the joy of Jesus, to stand for life. This is such a positive event, an encouraging event. And, you know, there's a whole day long of activities. There's going to be a Love Life prayer walk over to the Planned Parenthood that is across the street from the state capitol, where we will have pastors leading prayer and worship outside of Planned Parenthood. Then at 11 a.m., we will have a worship and praise rally on the steps of the state capitol. How amazing that we live in a state and a nation that we can openly worship Jesus Christ and surrender our state to him on the steps of the state capitol. And then at noon, we will have the March for Life rally. This is going to have tons of pro-life speakers. We actually have the president of the March for Life, Jenny Bradley Lichter, coming all the way from Washington, D.C. to California for our March for Life to talk to all of us about why we should continue the good fight. And then at 1 p.m., we march around the state capitol and everyone has their pro-life signs reminding women that they can do it, they can have their baby, and recognizing that a baby in the womb is a life that we shouldn't be ending. And so we'll march around the entire state capitol. The legislators are all there. That is why we do it on a Monday. And we have received reports that they can hear us inside the capitol with our pro-life chants. And so they will see us there. That impacts the California Capitol largely. And so we would love to see all of you there. For more information, it's californiafamily.org/March for Life. You can see the whole run of show, best parking options for downtown Sacramento, even buses from certain counties if you want to hop on one to get up to the March for Life. But it is a beautiful, positive day for life, and it is family friendly. My boss has been bringing his 2 little boys since they were about 2 and 4 years old. So come with your families, come with your friends, come with your churches, and take a positive stand for life in California.
Great. That's great information. And I want to thank you for sharing these moments with our audience. Is there any way that we can follow you? Do you have social media? How can we know more about what you are doing for this cause and some other good causes out there?
Yes, absolutely. So on Instagram, Facebook, X, it's California Family Council. California is completely spelled out. Mine is Sophia S. Laurie, and I post lots of updates about what I'm doing on these issues too. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and X. And then for all the details, all the articles, all the bills we're watching, that can be found at californiafamily.org.
Great. Thank you for doing what you are doing. We need more people like you, more women like you, courageous, bold. God bless you, Sofía. Thank you for being part of La Voz de Gustavo Vargas.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Ahí teníamos a Sofía Laurie. Qué mujer tan extraordinaria. Necesitamos más mujeres de esas. De hecho, yo sé que tú, amiga que me estás viendo, eres una de esas mujeres. Nada más que no te has tomado el tiempo de hacer cosas como estas. ¿Cómo puedes sumarte? Pues yendo a la marcha, promoviendo la marcha, compartiendo este programa. Dáselo, dile, mira, amigo, al sacerdote de tu iglesia, ahí a la misa donde vas, pásale este mensaje, porque estos temas no se hablan desde el púlpito. Es importantísimo. Estamos hablando de la vida creada por Dios. El hombre no tiene derecho a masacrarla. Dejemos de vivir engañados, por favor. Yo sé que este tipo de temas a veces no les gustan mucho a ustedes. A veces quieren más hablar de política, de Jeffrey Epstein, todo ese rollo. Está bien. Pero sabes que este tema es muy importante. Se trata de tus hijos. Se trata de tus nietos. Espero que tengas muchos. Pero bueno, antes de irme, mire, tengo un par de cosas que le quiero invitar. Bueno, tenemos el taller para parejas. Este domingo, su servidor Gustavo Vargas y mi pastor David Sariñana vamos a estar en Fe en Acción. Esto es en Downey. Si estás en el sur de California, ven, acompáñanos. Es a las 12 del día. Es un taller para parejas, para que sepas cómo lidiar con todos estos problemas. ¿Qué haces cuando te enteras que tu hija se embarazó y que decidió practicarse un aborto. ¿Qué haces? Bueno, esos temas duros los vamos a platicar. ¿Qué es cuando tienes un hijo que está batallando con las drogas, o tu esposo está batallando con alguna adicción, o tu señora está metida en líos? Bueno, precisamente para prevenir y corregir todo eso tenemos este taller para parejas. Es este domingo a las 12 del día. Ahí está el domicilio. Se llama Action Faith Church. La entrada es libre, es gratis. Ahí voy a estar yo. Ahí va a estar David Sariñana en el 10839 de la Reina Avenida en Downey. Y mira, mucha gente me ha estado preguntando sobre lo que yo hago, sobre las actividades que yo tengo. Y decidimos junto con mi esposa hacer lo que se llama un Corporate Overview. Vamos a abrir mi oficina y voy a ver si tú estás interesado en integrarte a mi equipo de finanzas. ¿Okay? A lo mejor estás buscando una oportunidad. A lo mejor tienes un hijo ahí graduado que no está haciendo nada porque lo que estudió no hay empleo. A lo mejor es una ama de casa que te gustaría trabajar desde tu casa para no descuidar a tus hijos. ¿Qué es lo que tienes que hacer? Venir a nuestro seminario. Lo voy a hacer este lunes. Es lunes 23 de marzo y es a las 7 de la noche en mi oficina, es presencial. Ahí me ves a mí con mi esposa para que aprendas de finanzas, para que te unas al equipo. Te voy a dar una introducción corporativa respecto de lo importante que hacemos y las grandes alianzas estratégicas que tenemos con las compañías de finanzas más grandes del mundo. Es en vivo y es en español. Lunes 23 de marzo a las 7. Preséntate, ahí está el domicilio, 1343 al este de Gladstone Avenida, en la suite 300, estamos en el tercer piso, una oficina muy bonita que tenemos, nos sentimos muy orgullosa de ella y de lo que Dios nos ha dado para poderte servir. Es en Glendora. Te recomiendo que le llames al 626-343-3267 para que te aparte personalmente yo un lugar y ahí nos vemos, ¿ok? Ahí te dejo la información. Antes de irme, para que no se me acabe el tiempo, mis amigos de One Café son copatrocinadores de este programa, así que si no has probado de One Café, hazlo ahora porque es un café fantástico, maravilloso, extraordinario. Así que te invito a que pruebes de One Café. Es un café que le habla a tus sentidos. Lo traen desde Guatemala. Se siembra en las tierras altas de ese país centroamericano tan hermoso que es el país de dos de mis hijos y de mi esposa. Cada sorbo revela intensas notas de cítricos, de chocolate, de miel. Es fruto del trabajo de 5 generaciones de caficultores. Puedes conseguir una o 2 o 10 libras de este riquísimo café en VOZ Mercado. Para que eleves tu experiencia tomando de One Café, no nada más es una taza de café, es una conversación entre tú y tu taza. ¿Correcto? Muy bien. Llegamos al final del programa. Ayúdame a compartir esto. ¿Okay? Copia y pega el enlace. Comenta. Estaba viendo comentarios ahí de haters que empiezan a hablar que las niñas de Gaza. Estamos hablando de millones de niños sacrificados desde 1973 en los Estados Unidos. El año pasado sacrificamos más de 1 millón de niños. 1 millón. Dios mío de mi vida. ¿Qué te parece si nos encontramos mañana? Con la bendición de Dios te dejo. Gracias a Carlos Hernández, gracias a Andrés Dibono, gracias a Juan Fernando Dubón, pero sobre todo gracias a Dios. Te bendigo en su nombre. Nos encontramos mañana. Gracias.
En cada familia hispana hay un sueño que nació pequeño y creció con trabajo, amor y con fe. VOZ Mercado es ese espacio donde todos esos sueños se encuentran. Un lugar hecho por nosotros, para nosotros. Aquí cada producto tiene historia, cada tienda tiene rostro y cada compra tiene un propósito. Cuando eliges VOZ Mercado, eliges apoyar a nuestra comunidad, a los que crean con corazón y mantienen viva la esencia de ser latino. Descubre nuestras boutiques, espacios únicos donde la cultura latina florece y donde encontrarás productos de calidad y a buen precio, especialmente creados para nuestra comunidad. D1 Café, que celebra nuestra pasión por el café y los encuentros que nos unen. Berry Clean Subs, creada con el amor de una madre para cuidar a tu familia con productos naturales. Canticos, donde la cultura y la música se transforman en aprendizaje y alegrías para los más pequeños. Holy Water, una marca que une estilo y propósito inspirada en nuestra fe y en nuestras raíces. Cada boutique refleja quiénes somos, creativos, soñadores, emprendedores, y cada compra representa una forma de hacer crecer a nuestra comunidad. Apoya lo nuestro, vive la diferencia y visítanos hoy